Hello, it's time for Combat Patrol Carnage. We're stomping our way through issue 37 and it's time to hit our lore articles. Not a lot in this issue, just a bit about the path to glory, in which the Chaos Space Marines and their cultists will take the path to try and reach demonhood. Many cultists don't make it, but a lot of the Chaos Space Marines, if they prove themselves worthy, will most likely make it. We also learn about, or continue reading, the Dark Descent, so the Eldari versus the Black Legion. Nice little stories. Almost Kill Team-esque, as we have a nice mixture of different God-aligned warriors within the warband. There's the sorcerer we've already met, there's the champion, and in this chapter we meet a ex-World Eater who's part of the squad as well. And then, of course, we get to name our Helbrute. The names we've been given aren't that great, but I think I've gone for the one that I do like the most. So we'll be utilising that on our naming chart for him. And we'll, of course, be picking out a title for him as well. Right, before we do any reading, don't forget to do all the usual. Like this video if you're enjoying the Combat Patrol content, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and drop me a comment down below. Let me know how you're getting on with your Helbrute. Have you painted him yet, or are you waiting for the paint guide in this series? I'm looking forward to painting him. He's going to be a bit of a fun one. There's loads of different colour applications. Some will take quite a while, especially their chosen colour for the flesh. I really think they could have done better by using Bugman's Glow or something similar. But yeah, it's looking good for what it is. Finally then, Combat Patrol Carnage is proudly sponsored by warbay.shop, your one-stop supply for all your hobby needs. They stock every aspect of the hobby: models, paints, gaming equipment, and collectibles as well. They also stock Combat Patrol magazines, so if you're missing issues, check out what they have in stock and you might be able to grab a few. I myself am eyeing up quite a few models in their Eldari and Space Marines collections. I definitely want to add some more stuff to my Eldari Combat Patrol. I do need another squad of Guardians to build up as the basic Guardians, or at least repaint from a already built up squad into the Combat Patrol required squad. But yeah, I'm waiting for some other things to come out that I want to order at the same time. So yeah. Check them out, of course. Don't forget, link in the video description, or head down to their physical store. Right, let's head to the table. We'll read these 2 new pages of lore and name our Helbrute. Here we are then, back with issue 37, and our Helbrute is fully built and ready to smash enemies with his hammer. But now it's time for us to dive into our latest lore articles, and we've got a couple to go through before we name our Helbrute. So I'll adjust the camera and we can dive right on in. Right then, lore time, here we go. Wow, that was quick. First off, we take a look at the quest of all Chaos Space Marines, known as the Path to Glory. The warriors of Chaos may fight together as one army, but each individual also undertakes their own personal journey. This is called a path to glory, and on this path they seek to gain the recognition and favour of the dark powers of Chaos. The servants of Chaos are motivated by selfish ambition, and each one of them walks their own path, led by their greed and hubris. As they attract the dubious attentions of the Chaos powers, the lucky among them are blessed with gifts, granting them boons and powers beyond the wildest imaginations. They use these in the service of their gods to sustain the Dark Patron's favour and benefactions. These gifts range from potent psychic powers to enhanced strength and transmutated flesh. For those who step on the path to glory, there are only 2 possible outcomes: ascension or damnation.
A tiny minority may walk the path and eventually rise to demonhood, but the vast majority cannot bear the gifts that they are given and or else fall from their patron's favour. Those who fail or fall from the path are cursed to live out the remainder of their lives as a blubbering and mutated chaos spawn. Demon Primarchs. Even the Primarchs who fell to chaos walked the path to glory. Some ascended to become Demon Primarchs, such as Magnus the Red of the Thousand Suns, who was the favoured of the Chaos God Tzeentch. Now we have a look at some of the different legionaries and characters who have walked the path. So first off, a legionary warrior. This legionary fell to chaos during the Horus Heresy. They have spent thousands of years working to please their god in a hope of a dark reward. This cultist was recruited on a desolate world. They risked their life in deadly wars, desperate for any scrap of recognition or advancement. This traitor Astartes became one of the possessed by pleasing their dark patron, who rewarded them with demonic possession and mutation. This cultist submitted to a dark ritual that went awry. Now they must live out their days as a tormented and grotesque torment. This former sorcerer lord was too greedy and could not bear the gifts that they begged their master for, eventually degenerating into a chaos spawn. Finally, at the dead center here, we have the Demon Prince. This Demon Prince was a great Chaos Lord. After winning enough victories, he was rewarded with ascension and now fights with even more zeal. And as a little sub sort of section to the to the path, you can end up being trapped inside a Helbrute. This Chaos Space Marine was forced, screaming, into the confines of a Helbrute. Here he will remain until what is left of him dies, neither able to ascend nor fall into damnation. This is usually those that have suffered grievous battle injuries and as such possibly lost the favour of their Chaos Gods. They're interred in these demonically possessed walkers and set forth upon the enemy. So there we have it, a look at the dark path of chaos. Yeah, it's got good rewards, but very risky, as well we've known here. You can sort of get halfway to demonhood by becoming a possessed, though you're not in full control. You are sort of subservient to the demon now possessing your body. Becoming a Demon Prince, though, you maintain your own sort of self-will, but again you are now subservient to the greater whim of the Chaos God that you signed allegiance to. So yeah, there we have it. Moving on, we got the final part of our short story, The Dark Descent. The Dark Descent, Part 2. The Eldari continued to press their attack on the Black Legion. Warning signs blazed in Archiel's vision as a hail of shurikens flurried past. Further into the catacombs, one of his companions, Nakir, blazed away with his bolter, blasting apart a couple of the life aliens in a shower of gore, before he in turn was brought down under the weight of shuriken fire. His armour pierced and rent in a dozen places by the lethal discs. Archiel dove for cover as more discs whizzed by at supersonic speed, smashing into the wall behind him and showering him in brick and dust and pulverized bone. He heard a roar and saw the black-armored form of Cardor charge forward into the midst of the Xenos, heedless of the danger, his heavy chain axe biting through their sculpted armour and into the flesh beneath. Before pledging his allegiance to Abaddon and the Black Legion, Cardor had been a member of the World Eaters, and the bloodlust his legion was known for ran deep through him. Unpredictable as he may be, his violent fury was useful at times like these. Archiel concentrated on providing supporting fire as the berserk warrior caused havoc in the close confines of the catacombs. Faced with the sudden fury of this axe-wielding maniac, the Eldari fell back further into the catacombs, disappearing from view. As Cardor made to pursue them, Archael heard a thrumming sound rising in intensity. The frenzied warrior, lost in the bloody reverie, failed to heed this warning, and a moment later a blinding light blazed from within the doorway, striking Cardor full in the chest and obliterating his top half. In the dim light, Archael could make out a sleek grav platform bearing a large Xenos weapon. From his centuries of warfare, he recognized it as an alien plasma weapon, a star cannon. The withdrawal had been a feint. The Eldari were drawing them into a trap. "Hold your ground and take cover," he voxed to his squad, who duly took up positions behind what little cover was available in the cramped confines. "We need to take them while the cannon recharges." The distinctive whine of recharging plasma coils reached its zenith, and another blinding flash blazed forth, vaporizing stonework and throwing up clouds of dust and rock. "Now!" His warriors charged through the archway, bolt guns barking in their hands, and taking a heavy toll on the defending warriors. As he advanced, the high-pitched whine intensified. Archael reached for his belt and grabbed hold of a crack grenade. He pulled out the pin and threw the device underarm towards the platform. His post-human senses had allowed him to gauge the distance, force, and timing perfectly. The grenade landed on the stone floor just ahead of the weapons platform, and its momentum carried it forward. It rolled beneath the hovering contraption and detonated, destroying the arcane alien devices that held it aloft. Its smoking form pitched forward and exploded, the energies that had been building within suddenly unleashed like a miniature supernova. The two Xenos screwing the weapon were instantly vaporized. "Their ambush has failed," said Archael to the rest of his squad. "The heavy weapon has been destroyed. The catacombs belong to us now." His prize was within his grasp. The Black Legion warriors left the narrow tunnels and stepped into a wide open cavern. At its center was a black obelisk, the surface of which seemed to shift and change. Archael could feel otherworldly energy radiating from it. In his mind, it sang of chaos and eternal night. Even the least psychically attuned human would be able to feel the aura of pain and dread emanating from within. No wonder the superstitious Imperial lackeys had bound it within parchment bearing warding runes and buried it here, deep beneath sanctified ground. They foolishly thought they could contain its evil, but Archael knew that such powers could not be denied. He remembered the last time he set foot upon this planet, how he had fought beside his master Aztoraf, a mighty demon prince, who had laid waste to many worlds. Archael had fought and slain many Eldari that day, but it had not been enough. Together with a cabal of robed psychers, the alien witch embarked upon an arcane ritual, blinding Aztoraf within an obelisk of black stone. A shimmering portal appeared through which more Eldari arrived, led by a Xenos sorcerer wearing a great sweeping helm. Archael felt anger boiling within him at the sight of the old foe who had cost him dearly. The shame of defeat surfaced like a ghost, haunting him. He had failed Aztoraf once. He would not do it so again. He focused his anger and charged the alien. The two met in a clash of blades, sparks flying from the weapons. Despite her heavy robes, the psycho was fast, and she nimbly avoided Archael's blows. Pain exploded in his head. He could feel burning tendrils reaching into his mind. Some kind of alien witchery, he thought. Marshalling his will against the psychic attack, he called upon the Chaos Gods for their aid. Dark power flowed through him, and he felt the Farseer recoil. Stepping forward, he thrust his blade through his foe's chest, alien blood sizzling on the sword's power field. All around, the Eldari fell back in the face of the Black Legion's assault, appearing to lose their resolve. Now that their leader was slain, they fled back through their portal. Archael allowed himself a moment of satisfaction, then beckoned to Sarquiel to begin the unbinding ritual. With his enemy vanquished, Aztoraf would be freed and this world would burn. So there we go. Just a small skirmish and the Dark Powers have reached their victory. So Archael has reached the plinth with the bound form of his master Aztarath, and now he's going to unleash it, and not even the Eldari will be able to stop him. I believe the website said this is the final part, so sad to see this story end. I was hoping we might even see more. Maybe the continuation, but in a different titled story. Who knows? Right. Moving on, then we got our collect article for our Helbrute. So I've got issue 31 here, as we do require the title page from this issue. So I'll put that to one side. I'll slide a piece of paper underneath as we're going to write down. And as I mentioned, I'm not really going to actually roll for this guy. I've kind of chosen the only name out of the three that I like. And we've gone for roll 3 or 4. So first off, we'll learn a little bit about the Helbrute. Trapped within the cold steel confines of the Helbrute are the remnants of a crazed Chaos Space Marine in perpetual agony. When battle comes, this beast of iron and sinew is unleashed to rampage through the enemy lines, seeking to repay its own unimaginable torments upon the cruel world around it. So, result 3 to 4. This Helbrute has lost their mind and can now only think of killing, death, and violence. And his name, Grafnar. So, I chose this name kind of for a very geeky reason. It reminds me of a line from a sci-fi film that I really do enjoy watching over and over. So, by Grafnar's hammer, you shall be murdered. So, yeah, if you kind of get that reference, do drop it down in the comments section. I'd love to hear back from you guys. But, yeah, so we have a Grafnar, and we're going to go for his title, and I've looked through all of the Chaos God ones, and I don't really think of one that fits this guy, although with the little bit of flavor text there, I think he does sound he's more cornate, so I think we will go for Corn. And so, which of the two options of Corn is the best sounding? So, this character enters the battle in a blood rage and always swears never to leave until they or their enemy are dead. Or this character is a master duelist who often challenges both friends and enemies to single combat. No, I think we will go for the Bloodied. So, Grafnar the Bloodied. So he's a cornate Helbrute. And yeah, we'll see him in action very soon. So we can take off build, which we have done. And yeah, we'll paint and play with him next issue. But for now, it's time to look at the Helbrute's data record. So, datasheet. This is a datasheet for your Chaos Space Marine Combat Patrol. The datasheet contains all of the information needed to use your Helbrute in games of Combat Patrol. File this datasheet safely away so that it is ready to use in games and scenarios in this and future issues. So we have a Helbrute who has a movement of 6, a toughness of 9, a 2+ save, a wounds of 8, 6+ leadership, and objective control of 3. Pretty cool. His ranged weapon has the Helbrute plasma cannon, which is blast hazardous, 36-inch range. It's D3 attack, so not very reliable, I guess because it is being piloted by a half-crazed madman. Hits on a 3+, is strength 8, -3 and damage 3, so it is a very brutal killing weapon regardless. Then for melee weapons, it has the Helbrute hammer, which is a melee weapon with 5 attacks, hits on a 4+, has strength 14, so not a lot can withstand this, -3 AP, and D6 +1 damage. So he is a vehicle, walker, chaos, and Helbrute. He has the core Deadly Demise ability and faction Dark Pax ability, and he belongs to the Heretic Astartes faction. At the bottom here we got a reminder of Deadly Demise, so when he loses his last wound, roll a d6. On a 6, every unit within 6 inches takes a single mortal wound, both friendly and enemy.
So there we have it. Grafnar is ready to be unleashed upon the battlefield. But that is it for this video. So yeah, we are just ready now to start looking at our gaming articles. But yeah, Helbrute is pretty good. He's named, he just needs to get some colour on him and he'll be ready to be unleashed upon the battlefield so soon. So all that's left for me to do then is say I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time on more Combat Patrol Carnage. Goodbye.